Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of our Football Focus SG podcast with myself, Faiz. We also have our expert pundit, Mr. Harun Nazri Anafi, Mr. JB, and another special guest of ours that's coming to our podcast. He is one of the youngest players to make international debut for Singapore against Philippines in the October 2011. Also one of the youngest captain to be in a captain of a senior team 2011 as well with Tanjong Pagar. Recently signed for Balestier. Please welcome Mr. Delwinder Singh. How are you today?
Hi, I'm good. How are you guys? Football is well.
Yeah, football is well. All is well. Okay, just a bit of a introduction about yourself. Maybe you can share with us, like, what got you into football? You know, who do you support? Which player do you idolize? How do you involve? How did your career start in football?
So basically, I'm Devinder Singh. So I'm currently with Balestier Khalsa. How I got into football is probably because of my dad. You
Your
know,
dad? Okay.
I used to watch him have his weekly kickabout with his friends,
Ah,
and yeah, I got intrigued by the idea of having fun and joy with a ball. You know, basically, many people don't understand the joy that you get from it.
yeah.
But yeah, it's something that has as in a way, always brought joy to me.
Mm.
And yeah, from then on, I've never looked back and regretted my decision in coming into this industry.
Yeah.
So yeah, I have to give credit to my dad. And since a young age, when I've been watching him play, and then I went on just having simple kickabout
Yeah.
sessions. But as I grew older, I went for trials, and slowly from then on, I started realizing that maybe this can be a career for me if I really want to push it.
Yeah.
And slowly throughout my journey, I started realizing that that this is something that I want to do
Yeah.
for a very long time if possible. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, that's how I got into the whole game and how I am still up to today, up to date.
Awesome.
Yeah, I'm a Liverpool fan.
Ah,
So
I
yeah,
think I saw the behind. Is that you will never walk alone there?
yeah.
Ah, okay, okay.
So yeah, so I'm a huge Liverpool fan. Also back again goes to my dad. He started supporting, and then it kind of passed on to us as well when we were watching the game, and then we got inclined to it, to the team specifically. And yeah, I've never regretted supporting them as well.
Yeah, a
Good
lot
times.
of patience until finally you guys actually get the whole of EPL.
Yes. And the funny thing is, Man U fans were the ones who were telling us, be patient, be patient. But now they are the one
Ah,
to be patient.
Mr. JB, are you hearing that? I mean, yeah.
Crystal clear, crystal clear.
Yeah, if you're not too sure, the winner, yeah, Mr. JB is a Man United fan. And for me, I think
I
you can see
see.
I'm Arsenal fan.
I see.
Harun Nazi used to be a Man United fan, but now he's neutral. I,
I probably gave up after watching that.
Gave up, bro. Gave up. Long time already, bro.
Yeah,
I,
all time.
I mean, don't worry, we're gonna keep in touch with whoever's that's on the wheel on that
Yeah.
side. But sticking back to your topic, which player do you idolize when you're growing up?
I've had a couple of players, position wise, because I'm a defender, center back to be specific. But if I were to just pick one, I'll pick Gerrard.
Steven
I would say,
Gerrard.
yeah. So it also
Mr.
goes back
Liverpool.
to Mr. Liverpool. But I think what really caught my eye in terms of him is his dedication to the game.
Mm,
How much he has been an influence on and off the pitch.
yeah.
Towards the younger guys who are coming up through the academy, and even just his presence on the field. You can really see that when he gets onto the field, he really gets the team going.
Yeah.
He's
He gives that 100% always, doesn't he? That
yeah
passion
he
he has, you know?
yeah he does. I think what the biggest thing that I admire about him is he's always placing the team above him. He's never wanted the credit or anything. He's always placed everyone else above him.
Yeah.
And that's what I think has really taught me, in this journey as well, to
Mm.
always replicate what he's doing. Yeah.
Okay, and also just one more question from me before I move on to Q&A to Harun Nazri and Mr. JB. I think they might have a couple of questions for you as well. But my question for you is that, do you remember your debut in S League? Like, can you share with us the whole process that you have? How did your debut went and all?
Oh, for S League, you mean?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So my first
You
game
can
was
share with the international debut as well. I'm sure that's a very big milestone as well because you're one of the youngest that to appear.
So basically my debut I was with Tanjung Pagar back then as well. When I first got into S League, I remember clearly my debut was against Albrechts. It
Ooh.
was a game that, I didn't want to come out of the changing room. It was a very big step because previously I was with the NFA 18, so I was playing in the Prime League throughout, and just prior to me making the big step to S League, I was actually out the entire year the year before. I was out with injury that I had to undergo surgery for my metatarsal, and then and I don't know how, but Tanjung Pagar came back into the league and they were looking for players, and I received a call stating that they are interested in me despite me not playing for a year and still on rehab. They had their full trust in me, especially Coach Terry, who was my coach back then. Yeah, so he just told me one thing, like, Del, I've seen you before and I really know what you're capable of, and I trust you. So whatever it is, just recover first and then come back when you're fully fit. So I started training in about January. So it was about a month of preseason before I went for my first big SPL game against Albrechts. Clearly remember it was against Albrechts at Jurong East, 7:30 game.
Wow.
And my direct opponent, because I was playing left back then, was Bruno Castanera.
Oof.
Yeah, so
Such a big ask for your debut.
yeah, man. So yeah, we didn't win the game, but I think it was really a game that opened up my eyes. The big jump from Prime League to S League was really what usually people say, like when you're from like welcome to the big men's game, there's no fooling around, there's no so but it's been enjoyable ever since. Like I mentioned, I've never once regretted it. If I had to redo the whole thing, I would definitely redo the whole thing, go through every single thing again to make it to where I am today as well. On the international side, it was I'd say a call that I never once expected, because
Share with us your reaction when you got that call up. How do you feel?
Definitely happy, but I just didn't want to believe it, because
So you're a bit skeptical about it.
Yeah, I was very skeptical about it. I was like, is this true? Like Coach Terry was telling me, like, oh, Del, have you gotten a call from FA or Coach Radi? They have been contacting the club wanting to talk to you. And I'm like, no, I was initially in my mind, I was like, okay, what did I do? Like, why is everyone looking for me? What did I do? I did nothing wrong. Like, why? But
it almost sounds like you're actually going for detention. That's what it sounds like.
Yeah, that's right. So so I just asked him, like, what's wrong, coach? Then he just told me, nothing is wrong. You actually make the cut for the next upcoming call up, So my first thought was like, no, Coach Terry, that's impossible,
Yeah.
We haven't won a game. It's only 4 months into my debut in the S League, I don't think it's possible.
Yeah.
I say there is no chance. So I just say, coach, just cut it. Let me just train now, don't pull my leg anymore. Because I was actually late for training. I was rushing from school. I was in RP back then. So I was just rushing and I just wanted to go onto the field and train. But before training, he just put me aside and was talking to me. So that's why I was just like, coach, I don't believe this. So he was just reassuring that it's really happening. But to be honest, I still vividly remember every single thing. And the entire training, I never felt anything. I really never felt it. I wasn't like nervous or
numb.
anything. Or yeah, I just I didn't believe it lah. To be honest, I really didn't believe it. I was just like, he's just joking around, pulling my leg, this and that. But it only started to set in after training. And we were at Clementi Stadium at the point of time. So after training, I went into the changing room. I checked my phone, and then I realized a lot of people were texting me, congratulations, this and that. I received multiple unknown numbers, and then a call came in. And when the call came in, it was actually a radio station.
Oh.
So yeah, they were saying like, "Oh, hi, Devendra, we've been trying to get you, finally you're on the phone, this and that." And I was like, wait, like, please, honestly, who are you? Really, who are you?
I mean, in Singapore, that's the first question we ask, right?
Like, I said, please, if you're trying to sell me anything or what, I really don't want. Just who are you? Don't waste my time. But yeah, it was actually really the radio station, and they were just in a way interviewing me about how I felt, because at the point of time, I was the youngest, 18. I think together with a couple, if I'm not wrong, Shaki and Faris was in it as well. So we're the youngest at the point of time. So they just wanted to know my views. That was when it really set in that, oh, look, like,
You're a national player.
yeah, and every boy's dream, to represent your country is finally happening. So yeah.
That is amazing. That is amazing. I mean, first of all, again, thank you again, because of your long career span in S-Link and SPL now, currently known. And, you have been living in our memory. We watch since young, but we just never get a chance or opportunity to have a platform to talk about. Now we actually, it's for us as well, it's especially for me, it's surreal for us to be talking to football players like you, Harun Azri. I no disrespect, Mr. JB. I know you're not a footballer, but you're an expert pundit yourself. So,
Thank you guys for having me on this show. It's an honor.
No worries. But moving on to Q&A from other guys, I'm going to start with Mr. JB first. All right, Mr. JB, do you have any questions that you want to share to Mr. Devinder here?
Yeah, for sure. Hi, Devinder. Welcome to
Hi.
welcome to the show. I'm known as Mr. JB. You can call me Mr. JB. You can call me anything. It doesn't matter. Especially now, since I know you're a Liverpool fan. Yeah, you can call me anything.
Sure.
Yeah. So I mean, oh man, Ole is long gone. But that's one a different topic. So anyway, back to the window. I understand you're a defender, right?
Yeah.
I think I asked the same like how I asked Abdul, I think previously. Was that your first choice position?
No.
Okay.
I was like any other typical young boy, where when you go for trials, what position you are? Striker. It's always you want to be the the standout kind of thing, So that was how I started my career, not career lah, basically my footballing journey when I was young in primary school. And I only got converted into a defender during Sec 1, and I've never changed position ever since.
Okay, interesting. So you enjoy being a defender?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, that's quite interesting. Okay, so my last and final question is quite straightforward. Being a defender, I understand that you came back, joining Tanjong Pagar back in, I think, the previous season, and we all know how that went, right? I believe it's quite. I mean, there's nothing to scream about there. But as a defender, what is worse? Conceding goals, getting a red card, or perhaps even scoring an own goal. How do you rank as a defender? Which is worse, from your perspective?
Interesting one.
Conceding goals, I would say.
Conceding goals.
Yeah, because why I would go with conceding goals is, okay, if you're red carded, then you cannot play in the game anymore. You cannot help your team. So that's really a suckish feeling, like you're not being able to help your team out, and if in future games as well, like suspended 2 or 3 games. That's one. But scoring an own goal is also not nice. But at least if you were to score own goal, you'll still be on the pitch and possibly trying to score again. Score and level things up. But I think conceding goals, it's a real as a defender, it's never nice, you have a job to do, which is to protect your goal.
That's right.
And likewise, every position has their job. Like a striker has to score, and if they don't score, it's also a sucky feeling. But for us defenders, you never want to go into the game conceding goals. I think it's a very common thing that we always say. Like I think all around the world is that go into a game, no goals conceded. Whatever the result, just make sure you don't concede any goals. Because at the end of the day, if you don't concede, the minimum you still can get a point.
Yeah.
So
I mean,
That's
yeah,
right. That's right.
That's pretty much like an everyday job that you try your best not to concede then.
yeah, that's true.
Yeah, I have to agree. I mean, at the moment, being a United fan, I think conceding has been happening way too often. But that's for a different time. Okay, but
As
just a
Arsenal
bonus question.
fan, I mean, you can ask Arsenal, right? We just went on Anfield. We know what happened there.
Oh, come
Yeah.
on, let's not rub it in, okay? Yeah, so just a bonus question for Del.
Yeah.
Moving into from Tanjong Pagar to Balestier right now, and at the age that you are, some people would say at the age you are is the age where footballers tend to be more mature.
Yeah.
Whereas in certain region, perhaps 28 is considered too old, or perhaps too experienced, in that sense.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we did have a chat, before the recording started and everything. You seem to have, a lot going on, both in football and outside. So, so your upcoming season, Balestier, what are you, looking forward, and what are you actually, are some of your personal targets to achieve? Like what's left for you?
I think for me basically is to I've joined Balestier officially. I think the biggest target for me would be what the club target is, improving the club as a whole, on the field, off the field, everything, guiding the younger boys. As much as it's a fact which I still don't want to accept, but I'll be the oldest player. So one thing that that I think that I have to do is to guide the younger boys. So it's really important, because when I was a young boy as well, I had the privilege of having a lot of experienced senior players who guided me through and showed me the way of how to be a professional player. So that's something that I really want to replicate and impart into the younger boys. Apart from that, goals would be to definitely, I think a very common thing is to improve the standing of the previous season. Whatever standing it is, to improve it. Go into a new season, it's a fresh start. It's something that you can. It's an opportunity to prove again. So I think that's something that everyone at the club is in sync with, to improve the footballing standards, and of course to adhere to Coach Akbar's plan of how he wants us to play, which
Right.
to be honest is really interesting and exciting to be part of. So yeah, that are my goals to also I think one biggest goal was the way that Coach Akbar spoke to me and how he viewed me as a player, and how he has certain attributes that he's going to change me to further improve my game. A different dynamic that he's going to bring, which I'm really keen on learning and imparting during the games. So that's one of the goals that I have really set my target on, to bring my game to another level, and be even better day in, day out, not game by game, but day in, day out. Even in training, it really matters to really improve myself. And these simple minor steps, but going forward, when you look back at the end of the year, these small steps are going to be a huge step at the end of the year. So
Yeah. Wow, that's great. I mean, hearing your answer, it's quite clear that you are team first than individual. So that is great to hear, and hopefully
That's
you will
Steven
achieve all your
Gerrard's
goals.
trait over there. We're looking
Yeah.
at Singapore Steven Gerrard.
That's right. Spot on, man. Spot on. Thanks. That's
Alright.
that's it from me.
All right, thank you, Mr. JB. Over to you, Harnazi. You got questions for our special guest here?
Yeah, I think I'll just go with a few questions. Del, just correct me if I'm wrong. In secondary school, were you part of the Singapore Sports School as well?
No, I was in Sengkang Secondary.
But you
yeah.
do train. You were with the NFA setup, were you?
Yes, I was with the NFA setup since NFA 15. So
You're
after
together with
school,
Faris,
yeah,
Kasimi, and all those, right?
yeah, the
Okay,
entire
so
batch.
if I'm not wrong, I might be wrong. Correct me if I'm wrong. You went through. There was a Japanese coach, correct?
Yes.
And then there was Dayan, and
No,
then
Dian wasn't with us.
okay, so there's the Japanese coach, and then there was Coach Robin.
Coach Robin, yeah. So under 15 was Coach Abdullah
Abdullah
no,
no.
yes. Then after that, the following year we went under the Japanese coach.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Then I didn't play in the NFA 17 because I made the jump to NFA 18. So I was with
Okay.
the late Coach Salim Moin.
Okay.
Then once I was done with when the year ended, I had to go back again to coach to NFA 18 with Coach Robin.
Okay. So you see, why I asked that question, because I realized for myself, I having played before as well.
Yeah.
I feel that 92 batch was very special. I feel along and I mentioned it to the rest of our the people here as well, Faiz and Mr. JB as well. I felt there was two batch that stand out throughout the NFA system. Your batch, the 92 batch, and also Coach Sundram's batch, the one with Shada and
Yes.
Zaiful and all that. I felt these two batch are the best batch that has ever been produced. I feel these are my own thoughts. So my
Very
question for you,
true.
you went through Coach Abdullah No, and then what was the Japanese coach name again? I'm sorry, I was being disrespectful. Is it Koga?
No, shit. Now I can't.
Okay,
at
it's
the back
okay,
of my
never mind.
mind.
So we have that Coach Abdullah No, and then the Japanese coach and
Coach Kage.
Coach Kage. But he was there only for a short bit, yes?
For a year only.
For a year. And then you went on to Coach Robin and this. My question for you simply, and of course you've had the experience of playing for foreign coaches in senior football as well. So my question for you, maybe from the coach in me, within me, and maybe you can share with our listeners or the ones watching the videos. Is there a difference between a not Japanese coach? Is there a difference between a foreign coach and a local coach so far to you?
To be honest, no.
There's not much difference.
Yeah, I think the biggest difference is within an individual, be it local or foreigner. I think each coach has their own way, their own philosophy that they want to impart into a player, an individual, or a team as a whole. So I don't really see, the difference. I always feel that every coach has their own method that they want to go by. So like for example, Coach Abdullah No was a very disciplined kind of coach. Like there was no fooling around. You can be the best player, but if you're gonna get the stick from him, means you're gonna get it,
Yep.
So whereas Coach Robin was a bit more relaxed, because he was more of I would say a player kind of coach, but probably also because we were a bit more matured then, because we were 18 by then. So that's why. So, and Coach Kage was very, I would say, in terms of, he was very specific in what he wanted. Like, as we all know, Japanese, they are very specific in terms of our fitness. There was no two ways about it. They wanted us to push in training, and he really paid a lot of attention to the minor details that we do in training. So like I said, that at the end of the day, I think there is no difference between a foreign coach or a local coach.
It's just the way they approach it, lah.
Yeah, it's just the way they approach it at the
Alright.
end of the day. Yeah.
Okay, so my next question to you, I think after this, we can finish the Q&A. We know you've been with Tanjong Pagar, you've gone through the NFA system, and now you're with Balestier, and I believe you've been with Warriors as well, correct?
Yeah, Warriors, Geylang, and Young Lions.
Okay,
And Hougang.
you've been through a number of clubs, but I correct me if I'm wrong again. Have you ever played in the AFC Cup or the AFC Champions League?
No.
You've never. Okay, my question then for you is, you're 28, turning 29 this year, right? Is
29,
there?
30, yeah.
Yeah. So 29, turning 30.
Yeah, next year.
Woo!
30, yeah.
Woo!
30 as well.
All right. So my question for you is,
That was a long time ago.
so look, I think the pinnacle for a football player at the end of the day is, of course, one, getting called up to the national team.
Yeah.
And then, of course, as a football player as well, you want to play at the highest level.
Yeah.
This might be a difficult question for you to answer, having just transferred to Balestier.
Yeah.
We'll make it straight to the point. Do you think Balestier have what it takes to qualify for the AFC Cup next season? Let's be honest here. I think AFC Champions League is a little bit too far-fetched for Balestier, but you know, football, the world, ball is round, anything can happen. But do you think with how Coach Akbar is going to set up the team, the way he has spoken to you, and like, what's interesting to me is the effort that he made to talk to you, that he wants to improve you as a player. You don't get that often in coaches, and that is a testament to the coach himself. So back to the question, do you think Balestier, with all the signings that the club is making and the ones that are yet to be announced, do you think Balestier have what it takes to qualify for the AFC Cup next season?
I think, to be honest, not only Balestier, I think as a whole, I'm not being political or anything, but I think why I'm gonna say this way is what I faced this year in Tanjung Pagar. Every team has a fighting chance for AFC spot. You know,
It's somehow rather balanced, right? The
yes,
teams now.
I would say, yeah,
Yeah.
it's like, and plus there is an additional spot now, you know, where there are one automatically to ACL, whereas the other two is AFC.
Yeah.
And why I said that it's a fighting chance for everyone, because if you look at this year's table, the
It's
first
close.
half of the season, nobody gave Tanjung Pagar a chance.
True.
But all of a sudden, second half of the season, we came out guns blazing. Everything changed. I'm not trying to be biased because I was there in the club, but I think we were a team to be feared. You know,
True.
towards the tail end of the season, there were some results where nobody expected us to get, where we got like beating Albrechts and stuff like that.
Yep.
But one particular thing was that we actually had a chance to go AFC, you know, and Tampines were not really doing well after their ACL competition. There was a bit of a fighting chance for us, you know, but the results didn't go our way and stuff like that. But because of that is why I'm saying that I think there is a fighting chance for anyone in the league. And with regards to Balestier, you know, the way that Coach Akbar wants us to play and how his philosophy of the game is, I think it's a testament of what he's done overseas as well in Chennai. You know, he brought players who has never played professionally. He brought them to winning the league.
Yep.
I really believe, yes, definitely it's a hard ask for an immediate response to AFC, but I would say it's not unachievable.
Yeah.
It really depends on us players, you know, at the end of the day, how much we want it. And so yeah, with that said, I think there is no particular answer that I can say that, oh yes, we can make it, or no, we can't make it. But I think that how I'm seeing it in training and how everyone is at the club, everyone has their vision aligned, and that's something that we also definitely, you know, want to gun for, go after. So with that, I think, yeah, we will definitely try our best, you know, and do whatever it takes to get into that place. Because I think one thing was, since we're on Balestier, is back in 2014, they won the Singapore Cup.
Yeah.
Nobody gave them a chance, but you know, they beat Home in the final.
Yeah.
And Home was a really strong squad, you know, back then. But you know, nobody gave them a chance, but they did it. So with that, it's the same thing for me, where this year, like, maybe people might not take us seriously, but for me, it's just down to, you know, just look down, work hard. Anything is possible in football, and that's definitely something that I want to achieve before retiring.
Brilliant, man. Okay, just one more question, Faiz, for Del. You
No worries, hey.
You moved on to my next question. Actually, I already have it in mind, and then you mentioned the word retiring. What's your age, man? What's your target age to stop? Do you have any?
To be honest, no lah. I have
You
never,
haven't put any age yet.
yeah, I've never ever, even when I was young, I never told myself like, okay, I'm going to retire at 30 or 35 or, because for me, it's one thing that I have learned along the way from various coaches is that always appreciate the next day you have, playing football. So that's why with that, I would never put a number to whatever age. If it's time for me to give up, then it's time for me. But if it's still within me to push on, the situation allows me to do it. How long I can play, I definitely want to play, because I don't want to tell myself like, okay, I'm gonna retire at 30, and then once I'm
Regret,
done with
yeah.
football, and then I regret,
True.
I should have gone on. I
Yep.
think that's the biggest thing. So for me, it's just appreciating and be grateful every single day for being able to kick a ball, enjoy, still have passion for it, fire.
Yep.
So if I can play, as long as I can play, I will do it.
Brilliant, mate. Brilliant. All right, Faiz, thanks, Del.
It is
No worries.
awesome. All right. Okay. So now I think we can finally let the winner to have a rest moment from from all the chatting for a while. But now we can
Always.
finally move on to another topic. Well, basically, I'm gonna continue a bit from you, Harunazi, talking about fighting for the top spot for getting the AFC and the Champions League. Well, basically, what's currently happening right now in SPL, a lot of transfers are happening. I'm sure we have seen, more particularly between Geylang and Balestier themselves. So I'm not going to go through details about who they sign, each individual, because there's too many. And also the transfer window is still opening. We might do this in the future. But as of now, currently as of now, going to start with Arunaji first. Which one has done the best bid so far in the transfer window? Which one actually looks promising?
Look, I think because the transfer window is still open, so it's a bit difficult for me to say right now which team has done the best businesses
Currently,
as of this moment, because I think we still have some time to go. We still have December and January.
Yeah.
So, but at this moment, I think the best signing, the most standout signing so far for me,
Yeah.
it has to be Sime Zuzu, man, to
Yeah.
Geylang. That is a huge surprise. It caught me by surprise, that one. I wasn't expecting that at all.
Yeah.
But I guess no one expected that at all. But look, you mentioned about it earlier. I've answered that question about the one that stand out. I think Sime Zuzu's transfer from Balestier to Geylang is the one that stands out for me. But I have to touch on this a little bit. I think people are taking a mickey about this thing about between Geylang and Balestier about players moving from here to there and there to here. I think, look, at the end of the day, things happen. At the end of the day, transfers like this happens in the real world as well. I'm not saying SPL is not the real world. No, it happens all over the globe. So I think people have to come to their senses and take I'm not saying that people are not taking our football seriously, but look, if it happens, it happens. Say example, I wouldn't want to put Dell in a difficult situation now. If it's me still playing, and if I were to receive a better offer from elsewhere, I would have to consider, look, I have a family to take care of and whatever not. And if, say example, I can see sometimes as players, and I believe Dell can testify to this as well. Sometimes when you as a player, you can see that a particular club is trying to do something better than the place that you're at. You might want to consider about that as well. So look, there are things happening behind the scenes that we as fans do not know of, but at the end of the day, we still have to be respectful. If the players have to go, at the end of the day, you can have whatever thoughts about a particular club, or 2 clubs, 3 clubs, 4 clubs, but if that's the model that the club follows, you have to be respectful. At the end of the day, as players are doing things for their own livelihood, and then as fans, I think it would be, fans have all the right in the world to have their own opinions. Everyone in the world have their rights to have their own opinions, but at the end of the day, you know it can be fun. It can be funny at times between these few things going on, and even I have a laugh sometimes with regards to these kind of things. But yeah, just to put it out there, if things happens between Balestier and Geylang, players going here and there, this kind of things happens in the top leagues in the world as well. So yeah, to answer your
I mean,
question
if
again,
Messi
serious
can
Zuzu.
move, why not everyone else,
True,
right? Who
true.
ever thought Messi would move, right?
Yep.
Okay, so moving on to Mr. JB. Mr. JB, like, what do you think about the SPL transfer window so far? From fan perspective, like, what do you feel? Like, is it promising for some clubs? Is it promising, like, in terms of like, there's gonna be more challenging for the title or the top spot in the next season?
Yes, I have to agree. From a fan perspective, in all honesty, I mean, let's just cut to the chase. I think 10 years ago, we wouldn't even have a clue of the SPL or even S League back then transfer season. We don't even know when it's going to happen, let alone who goes where or what. So, I have to feel as a fan, I think now is really good times for the SPL. Social media is on a high. The clubs are doing very well on social media and all these things, engaging with the fans, etc. So, honestly speaking, the SPL is really heading in the right direction. To be honest, especially in this aspect of the transfer season, this and that. Because in all honesty, I think we are quite blessed to know now, more names, more players, more, familiarity and all these things. Yes, in terms of some of the signings that's happening so far, I have to agree with Harun Nazri there. Of course, my favorite player of the season, Zuzu, going to, Geylang is obviously a shocker at the moment.
Yeah.
But again, I mean, I have to agree with what he said as well. This kind of thing happen in world football. It's normal, I mean, people may laugh about it, joke about it. I think that's all right. I don't think the players are too sensitive anyway, or take too much of the netizens' comments. Perhaps Dell can answer that one on a side note. Like does any of the keyboard warriors or the netizens' comments or views of players really impact them? I believe in some shape or form it would. But I mean, we are all humans anyway, so it's just a matter of how you control your I guess your temper, what have you. But going back to the transfer, I believe Geylang has been quite interesting to watch at the moment because they really did an overhaul of most of their players. Because I believe for Singapore transfer season is a bit unique. They actually announced like which players they're gonna keep first. So after that, once you see the list, you're like, okay, so that means the rest are going somewhere. So so on that note, I must say Geylang is really the one to watch for me personally in terms of this transfer activity. No surprises for Lion City Sailors. I do believe they're going big again. Go big, go hard. As per how they've been doing last season. So that's interesting. And I'm also looking forward to Tanjong Pagar. I'm not sure if Dale actually listens to the previous episode. I was one of those huge Rara fans of Tanjong Pagar, especially on the resurgence part. I was so happy for you guys. That was really an achievement because like what Dale mentioned, people, they tend to write clubs off and go like, oh, this club, it's down and out. But hey, resurgence. And they also seems to have, quite an interesting transfer season at the moment. I believe some players have already left, so time to see who comes in next. And I think my only hope, I hope for the upcoming season on a separate note other than the player transfer is to have a club transfer. I would love to see more clubs in the SPL coming back, especially Warriors. There are rumors of them, going to come back, not going to come back. Who knows, But I really feel that players aside, I do feel that, once you have more clubs, you won't see such, between Geylang and Balestier, this kind of swaps, you'll see more varieties and things like that. But hey, I mean, I'm all up for it as a fan. I'm happy where our league is going, and I hope that it goes on in the right direction.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. So moving on to Dell, just real quick. Okay, I mean, I know currently you are with Balestier, and of course, as a player, I mean, we're not gonna dig too much info out of you from currently where you are at. Don't worry. It's just fans wanting to know. All right. Just wanted to ask, like, yes, while you were in Balestier, and we believe that Balestier also did quite a lot of signings, a bit of an overhaul next to Geylang as well. But next to Balestier, which club would you feel like want to look out for in the next season based on the current transfer window that's happening? Do you still feel like LCS signing is gonna be even much more crazier than what it is? Or do you feel like, maybe Hougang or Tampines might pull something, or maybe Geylang, who is currently very busy right now, that that they are gonna be fighting the top four? Like share with us a bit, like as a player, do you feel intimidated by seeing this kind of signings by other teams?
To be honest, no lah.
Mm.
Because you're in this industry where you know that you somehow or other you will come up with very good players, be it local or abroad, and it's something that you really have to be ready. So and the moment you're intimidated by something, then I think half the battle is really lost. So it's really just acknowledging the fact that okay, this team is going to get better, but so what,
Yeah.
just
You're up for the challenge.
just do your best. Anything can happen in football. The ball is round. You can have the best players in a team but still lose. Like look, during the week, Man City beat PSG. So it's just not being intimidated, just believing in yourself and your team, especially, that everything can work out. But with regards to what you said, I think we all know that Lion City is going to be all out. They are going to participate in ACL. It's something that they would really want to perform well in. So there'll be no surprises in terms of them getting big name signings, be it local or foreign. Like the rest, like I don't know, the transfer window doesn't really say much in terms of, okay, apart from Geylang and Balestier, where a lot of players are coming in, going out, this and that. But I think the rest, I haven't really heard much, of which players are going where. But I think with that, no, I still think that it's a very even battlefield at the end of the day. Maybe only Lion City edging out everyone. But with that said, I'm not saying that they are unbeatable. They are definitely beatable. If you really put in the work, you can beat them on your day, which happened last year when Hougang, this year when Hougang beat them. So, but apart from that, I think it's a real even playing field at the end of the day for next year. Be it where the players go here and there. Yeah.
All right.
Faiz, 1 minute, Faiz.
Yeah,
Del, just to stay on you for a bit. You've been training with Balestier for almost a month. Tell us one player that you think will stand out next season, based on what you see from your own team. Any players that you think will stand out for next season for Balestier?
Yeah, actually a couple of players, to be honest. Some of the younger boys are actually really eye-catching.
Yeah.
There is this one particular boy which I feel I haven't really, prior to this, I haven't really heard of him or seen him, but I think there's this boy called Larry. He's a young Chinese boy who plays center mid, and I think there is something in him. He looks very yes, he get nerves sometime during training, but you can see that he wants to do something. So I think given time, he can do something in the field. But with that said, also there are a couple of young boys in the team which are really, if given the opportunity, I think they can do something. In terms of senior, I would say, okay, we all know Darren. Darren, what he's been doing. He looks good and sharp in training. There are a couple of boys which I can't mention the name, not official yet. But there are a few really, to be honest, if I were put myself as a fan, there are a few boys in the team that are really going to make heads turn and look at this guy like, look, this guy is something special.
Brilliant.
There are a few surprises which of course I can't say now, but as a teammate, I really feel that they have really been underrated throughout the years. They've been brilliant players, but now up close with them in training, I really feel that these boys are when they have their mind in the right place, things will work out for them. One more guy which I forgot to mention is Amir Hakim.
Mm.
Yeah, I think he had a really good season this year.
Yeah, he
The
really
young
did.
boy, 23. Before this, he just got off NS. He was in Young Lions for a bit, didn't play much, but in Blestia was where he really started playing. And to be honest, as an opponent, I do watch the league for whenever I can.
Yep.
And I think this Amir really stood out for me as well as a player. Lots of potential. You can really see where he gets it from lah. No,
Yeah.
it's straight up from his dad with his tenacity, his aggression, this and that. But I think he's another player which I think will improve further, and he's definitely going to do better next season.
Excellent. All right.
Nice. Well, speaking about doing well in the season, we can move on to EPL a little bit. Mr. JB, how are you feeling after all this being out?
Well,
Please do not rant
oh
because
man,
we may not
yeah,
have
I
a lot
mean,
of time,
yeah,
but
exactly.
we do know how you feel.
I get so emotional when you say that, but I don't know. I mean, I was the one calling for Oli out like for the longest time, but then and then when it happens, I was like the one that, alamak, it happened. Like, ayo, like what have I done? Like, oh man, he's our former player. Yeah, but obviously all those is down the drain when when you're losing 5-0 against, let's not mention the club name, and then and then you go on to lose to Watford and everything else. So I mean, it has come full circle. I mean, let's get real about it. I'm just speaking out from a fan. God knows what happened behind the scenes, but as a fan, I believe that Ole is an okay coach. I mean, he does improve the team. Okay, let's give credit. Where is due. Everyone has some positive strengths and everything else, but I do feel that there are limitations to his. I wouldn't say knowledge, but there are some limitations to his perhaps man management kind of style that from what I can see on the pitch So whether the players are saboing him or not, that one is beside the point, because all of a sudden they were all smiles when when they were playing in the Champions League. So so who knows?
Michael Carrick,
Yeah, exactly. For Carrick, who is another person who I feel shouldn't be there as well, but that's for another discussion. So so to be honest, as a Man U fan, it's mixed bag. All right, yes, these are former players. Yes, you see, that's a problem. I don't understand why do clubs take their own former players? Like, I mean, I don't mind if you take other former players, like Pep was a player. So many other teams are players, right? But I don't know. It's just that the feeling of calling out ex-players managing their own club that you grew up with, and then now when you see it shambles, and then I think there was an image earlier on I saw today of I believe they show a photo of, I think, outside Old Trafford or somewhere, and then the so-called I don't know what you call them, contractor or something, peeling off the poster of Ole's face there, and I was like, alamak, now I'm gonna miss his smile. But at the same time, when I hear other opposition fans saying,
I thought you hated his smile. Whenever his interview after the loss, he smiled and everyone's now happy. And
my goodness, but he is the babyface assassin, right? So what can you say? Even losing also he smiles. So obviously people hate that but again, when I hear opposition fans saying Ole is at the wheel, we want Ole in, all the more I was like, dude, just get him out, just get him out, really. Because opposition fans are loving him because he's giving away free goals, he's giving away free, points. My goodness, I mean, like I said, I mean, the word concede, right? Like, if I'm actually salivating, saying the word concede. I mean, poor De Gea, that bugger really gave his all. I do feel that the start of this season is much better compared to the start of last season. But I mean, I don't know. There are so many problems to fix. I really hope Del can probably give some tips to our El Capitano, big old Harry Maguire. Probably something to I mean, recently the way he stumbles upon his own player, especially Luke Shaw. I was like, wow, is there a magnet or something? Why are you bumping over your own player? And
from a mental point of view, I love it, definitely.
Yeah, of course.
Of course, you're enjoying it.
Of course, who wouldn't?
Going above.
Yeah, who wouldn't? And the fact that, I mean, just look at his price tag, you know, all the more banter is coming out, the most expensive defender. And some of the matches you're showing, like, you know, the fundamentals are not even there. So I don't know. I mean, I'm just hoping for the best at the moment. Ole being Ole, I do feel that it's a rush appointment because of the honeymoon period that he did when he was the interim, and then, you know, the fans were like, "Hey, Ole's at the wheel, you know, just give him the permanent contract," and they did. And yes, you know, United finished second, but to be honest, last season was a write-off lah. Honestly, last season wasn't really, you know, a full-fledged one, because we look at teams like City, Pool, you know, they are the more consistent one. At the end of the day, the league is all about consistency. And I'm still one of those fans right now, you know, who I would say that, you know, let's just move on from this Alex era, you know, let's just forget it, you know, let's just leave that, you know, at the back of our history books, you know. It is what it is. The modern football right now, if there's a coach that's only gonna stay there for 1.5 years, I'm all right, you know. Forget about long term, you know, you won't get someone like Wenger or Fergie anymore, you know, the ones who will stay, you know, for like 10 over seasons or what have you. Yeah, so for me, you know, I'm all right. You know, you want to bring in Conte like previously before Spurs actually snatch him away. Yeah, people say, oh, he's a short-term manager, but I don't mind. You know, success is success.
Yeah.
Because for a club like
The
United,
result business at the end of the day.
yeah, at the end of the day, football is business literally right now. You know, it's no longer, you know, it's like, oh, just go out there, have fun. No, 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 you know. Which is why I think the Glazer actually got rid of Ole. I think the main reason is probably because they scared they couldn't get the Champions League spot next season. And then Adidas will run away. And then the sponsor will probably be what, Topper or whatever brands that, you know, is popular back in the day. So yeah, so all these deals are money. So yeah, so that's my
Maybe FBT, you know, he can get some FBT.
yeah, I mean, I don't mind, man, at the moment. I mean, even Balestier's sponsor is pretty, you know, I mean, Adidas as well, right? If I recall correctly, correct me if I'm wrong there.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, yeah, so.
I just want to
yeah, that's
ask.
it, yeah.
I just want to ask Bill real quick regarding about what Mr. JB mentioned earlier about the current trend about club having former players joining. So my question to you, with club situation right now is doing so well, would you take Steven Gerrard next season as a coach, or will you still stick to club given a chance?
I would
I mean,
change
we
that,
know somehow Gerrard's gonna be there. Just a
yeah,
matter of
definitely,
when.
definitely. It's just a matter of time, you know.
Yeah.
Probably a while before he comes in, but
Would
I
you
would
consider
really
Klopp's
love-
gonna be there for a long time?
I definitely want him to be there for a long time. You know? But I think apart from him getting the successes, I think it's the faces you see after a game, you know, the players' faces. I think that's what it really means for someone like Klopp at the club. It really shows how much the players are really willing to go the mile for him. He's really a player kind of manager. And yeah, I think it's comparable towards, since we are on menu, like you see the faces after a game when even after they win, you know, how are they, whereas compared to how Liverpool players are, you know, with their managers, you can just see like after a game sometimes you don't even realize that Klopp is actually a manager.
Yeah,
He seems like a player, you know, who
like a
just,
friend with them.
yeah, yeah,
Almost
so,
like brothers, or some, especially younger players, they look up to him like a father figure already and all.
yeah, you know,
That
those
bond
hugs
that
and
is.
everything. So yeah, but back to your question, I think, you know, I wouldn't want to get rid of anyone, like bring to either have Gerrard or Klopp, but I would really like to see, before Klopp leaves or anything, a partnership between both of them, you know, like a mentor-mentee kind of thing. And I think it's
You mean
really
like an assistant manager for
like an
Gerrard?
assistant, as in, yeah, Klopp has his backroom stuff which is brought over, you know,
Yeah.
they've been as magnificent as well. But I think what, as a fan, I think would really do Gerrard good as well in his career is being like a mentor kind of post. Well, previously he was, before he went to Rangers, you know, he was with the academy and stuff. But I think bringing him up to the senior level, and you know, that probably can be done before like Klopp finally decides like, okay, I'm gonna leave in a year, or I'm gonna leave in 2 years, and that's where probably the club decides that, okay, maybe Gerrard is our next guy, and bring him in and see these two do well together and pass on the legacy to Gerrard to continue lah.
But I can only imagine now if Liverpool face Aston Villa, who do you support then? I know Gerrard's your idol and Liverpool's your fan club. Like
Too
you're
good.
probably hoping for a draw, is it?
No. As much as I love Gerrard, but it's still a
Liverpool
win for
first.
Liverpool. Yeah.
Alright, over to Harun Nazri. Current news happening in EPL. Of course, again, for those who are listening and watching the video now, we're gonna have a quiz with Mr. Dewinder here and our two pundits as well. But of course, this is the last question to you, Harun Nazri, before we go to the quiz. The current news that's happening, which is Man United actually is gonna appoint Ragnick as an interim. What do you think about that signing? If they were to really go through, it sounds like it really went through.
Yeah, I'm just waiting for Fabrizio Romano's here we go to confirm
Yeah.
everything.
Everyone's just waiting for that.
Yeah, man. I think he's the spokesman for all transfers nowadays, man. The Globe. Too bad he's not covering SPL.
He can tell pretty much whether I'm gonna pass or fail or not. And then it's like, here we go, Faiz pass.
True, true. So, okay, back to your question, Ralph Rangnick. I think last night I was sharing with the group, our group, all sorts of things about this coach, and I believe I've mentioned to you guys as well about Coach Ralph Rangnick. I think about a year or 2 years ago.
Yeah.
First, let's talk about his appointment. I don't want to talk about his appointment on an interim basis, because at the end of the day, we have to look at the man based on what he has done. And I feel two or three of the, I won't say biggest clubs in the world, but standout clubs that he helped to turn over in a way. First, we have to look at Hoffenheim. I think he was the man that brought Hoffenheim. I know he was the man who brought Hoffenheim from Division 3 all the way up to the Bundesliga. That takes a whole load of that's a whole feat in a way. And then also at the same time, what he has done for both RB Leipzig and Red Bull Salzburg. Yep. The things that he have done behind the scenes. Look, at the end of the day, he's a coach, yes, but I look at him more of a behind the scenes kind of guy, bringing in players, looking at, in a way, just setting, I won't call it a platform, but I would say, just setting the pace for the club.
Stabilize.
Look, stabilize the club. At the end of the day, I feel the problem with Manchester United, look, everyone can talk about Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, everyone can take a look at Michael Carrick and whatnot. But I think United as a whole, when Sir Alex was there, he was the one running everything from on-field matters to off-field matters together with David Gill, and they were running the whole show. But now in this modern era, delegations and whatnot, you have to delegate certain things to people, because there's, like Mr. JB mentioned, football now is business, where you have all sorts of factors that you need to think of, merchandising, all your sales parts and whatnot. So with Ralph Ragnick, I'm more intrigued with him being the man that who inspires the Winder's favorite coach at the moment, Jurgen Klopp. This is true. Everyone can read articles about this. Jurgen Klopp, Julian Nagelsmann, Thomas Tuchel. He has a lot of admirers to his approach to the game, and especially this.
It's kind of like the German Bielsa, where most managers
true.
look up to.
To me, they call him the man who started this Gegen pressing and whatnot.
Yeah.
So, am I excited for him signing as a coach? Not so much. Am I excited that he's going to be behind the scenes? 100%, because I feel Manchester United needs that more than a coach on the field. Is he going to turn things around straight away? We don't know. And honestly, I don't know, because are the players suitable to what he wants to bring to the club? At the present moment, I'm 50-50. But am I certain that he can help to stabilize the club from a higher level position? 100%. I think he is the man to stabilize Manchester United. Once he is there, after the interim position is done, I hope he can stabilize the club, bring in a coach, get in players. Look at the players that he brought in for Red Bull Salzburg. Naby Keita, Sadio Mane, Minamino. There's so many players that he brought for nothing. And look at how much he sell them off for. to
Yeah.
Liverpool or to before that from the clubs that they were at previously. Look, I know there will be certain parts of the Manchester United camps that will be skeptical on his signing, for sure. But look, I think Manchester United fans are being skeptical about everything nowadays. Yeah. So
Wait, hold on, hold
whatever.
on.
Yeah.
Hold up. So
Oh.
you're saying that if Mr. Ragnick come over, we can get 80 million refund?
For Harry Maguire, 100%. Look, at the end of the day, for me personally, um, I want to see Manchester United do well. Not because I was a former fan or whatnot, but I want to see uh them challenging. You know, at the end of the day, we want to make like how I want the SPL, our Singapore Premier League, to be exciting. I want the EPL to be exciting because when it's exciting, that means the coaches have their work cut out for them, and when the coaches have their work cut out for them, the league is going to be better. The players are going to be better as well. So yeah, good signing for off the pitch more for me.
Awesome.
Yep.